Aston Villa versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, a match analysis of Aston Villa's shocking home defeat in a 3-2 loss, in which we saw capitulation, devastation and a brutal defeat at home. Is Emi Buendia the right man to lead Aston Villa, and can he live up to the price tag of £40 million set by him when signed in the summer? And finally, we look at Arsenal versus Aston Villa in the next upcoming fixture with a match preview, understanding which team is going to be coming out the victor. Hello, yes it is me, it is Ben from the Pride of Villa, and this is a Villa Roundup. You've heard the headlines, you know what to expect. To expect more of this, all you gotta do, subscribe to the channel, click on those social media pages, get following us there so you can follow instant live tweets and also live updates to new videos. Without further ado, let's just dive straight into it and go into that first headline as we discussed. Aston Villa versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Aston Villa 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 3. You've already seen from our instant reactions how we felt now. I'm still very upset about it. I think Nathan's pretty much really calmed down about it. Obviously, it's one of those he can probably just live and forget about. Me, however, I'm starting to enjoy the banter. So annoying. It's so annoying. Every time watching it back, it's so annoying to think we lost the game. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about a match analysis. Obviously, Wolves winning the game 3-2 in the last 10 minutes. But looking at the stats here, in terms of possession, Aston Villa 48% to 52% to Wolves. 14 shots and 9 shots from Aston Villa to Wolves. On target, Villa recorded 5, whereas Wolverhampton Wanderers only recorded 4. I believe 2 of them are own goals. So I believe really... not really getting much count there. Corners, Aston Villa took 6, Wolves got 7. Fouls, Aston Villa got 8, Wolves got 17. That's a lot of fouls to give away there. In terms of lineups, both teams played with a 3-5-2. Obviously, Villa have been trying to adapt this system all season. Sometimes it works. But at Watford, at Tottenham, I've seen it on Twitter, when our fullbacks go out and they can't cover back, our centre-halves are forced to spread out across and cover a lot greater distance along the pitch. And ultimately, when you get that, you get somebody that isn't comfortable in what they're doing. They're having to do 2 more roles at once rather than focusing solidly on one. And ultimately, it allows teams to cut us apart, especially with the likes of Wolves going with Hwang Chan and Adama Traore in this game. We saw what Traore did in those first few minutes, going through 5 players, which defensively was really poor. No real attempt at tackles, just going in straight with some arms rather than just trying to do something, because I think the best way to take his arm down is just take him down. But obviously, I'm not a football expert, so that's why I'm not managing. But when you play like that, you've got those quick, pacey players. That's what they're able to do. They're able to take us apart, and when we aren't able to come back and help defend, that's what you're going to get. Obviously, Villa's still trying to persist with Ings and Watkins. Buendia getting another start again as that number 10 role. It was just so disappointing, was it? Looking at the first goal, obviously, Villa did have a lot of chances in the game. As we said, a lot of shots recorded by Villa. You got to think Cash from the outside of the box, McGinn from the outside of the box, Douglas Luiz taking a shot from outside the box. Villa players really taking opportunities there. Obviously, the ball fed in from Buendia, really nice. He's able to brush off his defender. And surprisingly, you'd be thinking he should be burying it near post, but he's taking it across the goal. You're just thinking, that's not the Danny Ings that we know. That's not the guy who was tearing it up not so long ago. But, second half, straight away, Villa make an impact. It all comes in from McGinn, doesn't it? I believe it's a ball played in from Cash to McGinn. McGinn's holding up the player on the edge of the box. It gets a really short-driven crossing. Ings is completely mark-free. Connor Cody's not really having a chance at marking him. And he's able to quickly get that goal in. The nice header, and you're thinking, yes, Ings has got the goal there. 20 minutes later, Villa continue that pressing. They take another shot on. I believe it's deflected. McGinn's able to get a quick tapping on it, and he's able to also get another deflection and ultimately put it in the bottom corner. And Aston Villa are taking the lead at 2-0. Now, you're thinking at this point, Villa were playing 5 at the back. However, we look like a team that can go on and win this game. Like, it's a team that should really I don't want to say get too reserved in their positions, because clearly that's what happened. But stay to your course, stay to what you're doing, and if anything, just keep attacking, because that is the best form of defence when it comes to Aston Villa. However, oh, it all goes wrong, doesn't it? Let's take a look at this together. Let's see what this is. Now, this first goal obviously comes in from a set piece. It's driven in. Doesn't beat the first man on that far post. It's headed away, I believe. Watkins with a half-hearted clearance. Neves, little crossing. It's able to cut across. It goes straight across the line. And it's able to be put in there to make it 2-1. Romain size there. It's a bit disappointing. I think we just really switched off there. But it's a really nice ball from Neves. Sorry. I don't really care your Wolves fans. But it's a really nice ball put in there from Neves. To put that away and obviously, you know, get them to 2-1. Now, obviously, then we go on to the second goal, which is another set piece. It comes in from a corner. Defensively, Villa are a shambles. Header off the bar. And, you know, Adama Traore's messing around the edge of the box. He's able to get a little chip in. I believe that's... Oh, I can't tell who that is, actually. But basically, the ball is played in. And then Mings and Watkins are just standing in the ball loops over him. All you've got to do is just make a little jump for it. You know, Tuanzebe with some flop of a clearance. And I believe it actually ends up coming off him for an own goal. And you're thinking, well, that's great, isn't it? Villa conceding there. Obviously, 2-2 now. You're starting to think, don't test my patience. Don't test the patience. The key difference is really there was Podence being brought on, obviously. Fabio Silva, as much as I criticise him, clearly made a difference. Villa having the odd chance here and there from Ings with a free header down the other end. And then we get to the dying embers of the game. Ramsay's been brought on to try and help shore it up in midfield. And he ends up giving a foul away completely on the edge of the box. Neves is still on the pitch. You know what's going to happen. You can see it as soon as it's going to happen. He's got that free kick. Now, I've been debating this with my mates. It's hard to say whether this is going on target or not. But obviously, Neves lines up for the free kick. He's on the edge of the box. It ends up coming off target. Target turns towards it, and he gets a massive deflection and goes into the post. And Wolves ultimately end up winning the game. Really disappointing there. They've just got to do better. It's just got to be better than that. But ultimately, Villa capitulate. Jacob Ramsay, you know, you don't want to slag individual plays, but it's such a needless foul because, you know, at that time of the game, you'd go away happily with a point, and ultimately Villa end up dropping 3. And it's poor. Aston Villa give it away. It's as simple as that. Villa give it away. Ultimately, we're all left to fight in the substitutes. I have no issue with the cam coming on for Luiz. Obviously, Luiz representing Brazil, so he's only been having a few minutes there. Obviously, we then got Jacob Ramsay coming on, which is a fine decision. Not really one I would have made. I would have liked to see someone like Samsung come on. And then the baffling one, you're bringing on Ashley Young, who isn't a bad player. Just defensively, he's not that strong. And even then, House is on the bench. He's had a man of the match performance against Man U, a really good performance against Tottenham. And then what do we go and do? We go and throw it all away and put on Ashley Young. Why does he not get to start at least? Why is Tuanzebe playing? You know, you move Konsa out wide, play him as a right back where he's naturally played before with Brentford. Move House into there. You've actually got someone who's naturally going to play at right back. Ashley even doesn't play right back. And ultimately, that's what you get. Defensively, a complete lapse. It didn't help admittedly with Cash with the injury. But ultimately, that's what happens. Villa give away the game there. And yeah, it's 3 points dropped. It's a disappointing result. Aston Villa ultimately dropped to 13th now, I believe. And considering our opposition next, there's a chance we could get Messi, but there's also a good chance against them because we do have a good record against them. But we'll move on to that later. And as we now going to move on from Aston Villa Wolves, let's put it in the grave. Let's move on to another topic that I feel isn't getting enough response in the community. Yes, the next headline now is Emi Buendia living up to that price tag that we mentioned. Obviously, being brought in for 35 million. The first signing that Aston Villa made in the summer window. We were competing with Arsenal for this move. a lot of high hopes from him. Obviously, in the Championship, playing and getting 15 goals and 16 assists, really having a star time with Norwich. But since he's been with Aston Villa, 6 appearances, 1 goal, 0 assists. His expected goal ratio is 0.2. His expected assists is 0.57. He's only ever taken 4 shots and has a pass completion rate of 79, which isn't massively terrible considering the positions he's had been playing. You'd like it to be a bit better for something of that creativity, somebody who's going to really drive at the ball and really test defences. Now, the issue with Emi Buendia is, and I wanted to talk about this because he was, I know I'm just contradicting myself here, he was getting a lot of mention after the Aston Villa Wolves game. The fact that this was the first time he came back in for a while. Obviously, you pay a lot of money for him. It's very mixed with him. I think for me, it was a game where he played much better in that number 10 role, looked very more comfortable. Obviously, the link up with Ings, we saw it with Watkins in the pre-season against Walsall. There's clearly that link up there. He's starting to, I guess, get familiar to it. The issue is he's not a number 10. He is a winger. He is a wide player. That's why he did so well at Norwich. He played out wide. He could feed in Timu Pukki. He had Todd Cantwell, who's naturally going to be playing that attacking midfielder role, someone to fill up there, whilst we're playing Buendia out wide. Whereas Villa want to play him as a number 10 because we don't really have a number 10. You know, we sell Jack Grealish. McGinn is ideally someone who should be someone pushed more forward, and then you play somebody like a Sanson and a Douglas Luiz. You know, when Barkley was here, he was starting to really fill up that link up alongside Grealish. Obviously, Grealish being moved out wide, and that's what you get. You get somebody that's filling that number 10 role. The thing with Emi Buendia is he just doesn't look comfortable. There's times he's just sloppily giving the ball away, and it's really for the rest of the team, but focusing on him. This is a big money player that we've spent a lot of money on, and we're expecting a lot more from him. Now, in terms of what he does bring, and I did note this out in the game, how quick and nimble he is. He's a very agile player. When he's got the ball, he's very good at holding on to it because of that nimble feet he's got. He's able to drive with the ball a lot more, and that's what, and again, to repeat the point, that ball into Danny Ings, it was a really nice picked out ball. That's what you get when you drive with him. Obviously, the chance where I believe it just went wide of the post. It's a play that we can use. You know, and considering we're having a bit of an issue out wide, obviously we're all missing Bailey. That is a video on its own. The impact of a Bailey. But you've got to think, what does Dean Smith know? He knows a 4-3-3. As much as he wants to play Ings and Watkins together, we know it's not working. And I think the best case of it to get both of them out on the pitch, play Watkins out on the left. He's done it before with Brentford. Play Ings down the centre as that number 9 and play Buendia out wide. You're going to see a really nice dominating front three. McGinn, hopefully Sanson or Jacob Ramsay. I'd argue Ramsay just because of how confident and much better he's looked this season. And then obviously Douglas Luiz helps you up defensively. 5 at the back doesn't work. It's not helping us out defensively. And it's just giving our fullbacks too much trouble. But when you play that 4-3-3, Watkins and Target can link up. Cash and Buendia are going to link up. They're going to get a nice connection going. And ultimately, I think that's where Emi Buendia needs to be positioned himself. So what do you think? Do you think Emi Buendia is living or is going to live up to the price tag? Can he be our star player for us? Or do you think it's going to be a waste of money come sooner or later? Leave it down in the comments down below. I'd really like to know your opinions on this one. And now let's move on to that final headline and look at a special match preview. And finally, of course, is a big match for Villa, one that I'm really looking forward to. Arsenal versus Aston Villa on the 22nd of October. Villa will be playing away to the Emirates Stadium, hopefully in the third kit. What a lovely little kit that would be. Now, this is a very interesting game. Obviously, this can go one of two ways. Let's look at it from the Arsenal perspective. Arsenal had a rocky start this season, losing to Brentford on the opening day, losing to Chelsea at home, losing to Man City away. You're thinking, it's not getting any better there. Manager under pressure, obviously. A lot of money spent. But in the past 5 games, they've gone unbeaten in 5. They've beaten Burnley, they've beaten Norwich, They've beaten Tottenham 3-1, and then obviously getting the 2 draws against Brighton and Crystal Palace. Even the Crystal Palace game they should have lost. So they were unbeaten in 5, and it looks like they can find the back of the net. Obviously, Aubameyang, 3 goals in his last home games. He's going to be pumping. Also, Lacazette making an impact. So you've got to think, who is Arteta going to play? Which striker is going to go over? Is he going to play both? Who knows? However, Aston Villa, I would argue this is more of a great favourite in ours. Aston Villa unbeaten since 2019. Obviously, the first time we played them back, we lost 3-2 away. However, the next year, we would win 1-0 in that relegation fight. And then across last season, a double against them, winning 3-0 away from home and 1-0 at home and defending for 90 minutes. It's going to be a tough game. As I said, Villa are not in the greatest of form right now. Losing against Tottenham, against Wolves, beating a Newcastle, beating an Everton, a draw against Brentford, losing against Watford. It's so inconsistent, and obviously losing against Chelsea. It's so inconsistent with Villa. However, this is really the time we need points now. I think if we don't get a result here, I'm not saying it's me. I think Dean Smith out, people are really going to start going in. I think it will start to be time to question the magic. Considering Edens was at the Wolves game, you've got to wonder what is going on. Set pieces need to improve. Austin McPhee was brought in to improve that, and we conceded 3 goals from it. So he's got to see it out there. Arsenal, however, defensively looks so suspect. Obviously, Crystal Palace game, losing those 2 goals the way they did, outmuscling their midfield, which is something we can do because we've got players like McGinn who like to get their body and like to really fend off players. Ben White, obviously defensively not looking great. Tomiyasu looking a bit dire. Tierney's going to always burn himself out. You've got to think if we can exploit that, we are going to have a good chance here. It'd be nice to win again away against Arsenal. As I said, we did the double last season. I'd like to keep that going. It's very hard. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go positive with it. I'd say 2-1 Aston Villa. I think they're going to score. I think it's just, if we're going to win this game, it needs to be like Wolves. We've got to score the 2 goals first, and we need to dominantly see it out. And I know I said I concede a goal, but I'd rather like to think that's going to be in the last 9 minutes. But I do think Aston Villa can get the win there and really put the sword to Arsenal. But let me know in the comments down below who you think would come out the victor in that one. Do you think Arsenal will continue the 6-game unbeaten run? Will Aston Villa finally turn their luck around and get a win? Who is coming out the victor on this one? And with that in mind, guys, that's going to wrap up our Villa Roundup for this video. I hope you did enjoy this type of video. We're trying to go for some new stuff now. As I mentioned, we're looking for new ideas. We're looking to see new possibilities. We've got a Bailey video lined up. How important is he going to play for Aston Villa? I've got a little special something trying to come up that focuses on each player on the team and some other ideas. Obviously, we're going to be at the West Ham game next week, so that's going to be really exciting. Another match vlog from there. Obviously, our instant reactions from Arsenal. It's a very exciting time to be a Villa fan in terms of the content, but also what's going on the pitch. Hopefully we can turn it around against Arsenal. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought about the topics we discussed today. What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? You can do it there on our social pages, Twitter and Instagram. Go follow us there. But without further ado, I've been Ben, up the Villa with the pride of Villa. We'll see you next time, boys.